Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Sue and today we're going to do a Yin Yang Yoga class. So what's going to happen is the first half of the class we're going to do a flow class, a more Vinyasa style class so that the body becomes nice and warm and heat up the body. And then towards the last half of the class we're going to do a more Yin class. For the Yin portion of the class you'll probably need a bolster or some pillows, a couple of blocks might be useful, and blankets as well. So something a little different, a class that I really enjoy teaching. I hope you enjoy it too. It's a full class today, so let's begin with centering. Find a comfortable seated position for your body. Place your hands on your thighs or on your knees. Allow the shoulders to relax and close your eyes. Begin with breath flowing in and out through the nose. Deeper inhales and longer exhales. Inhale to sit a little taller. Exhale to soften your facial features. Exhale to relax the shoulders, let them draw away from the ears. Exhale to loosen the limbs, soften those arms, fingers, legs, feet, and toes. Just a few more breaths. As the body begins to relax, set aside everything else and just allow yourself to arrive right here, right now on your mat. Let's take that one more inhale. And exhale. Okay. Gently open your eyes and welcome. Let us begin in tabletop position. Come on down to your hands and knees. Good spread to those fingers, knees about hips width apart and toes pointed straight back. Start up with flat back, long spine and long necks. Next, press down into the fingertips, arch the back. Cat pose, tuck the tailbone under, feel good stretch to the back of the body. And with your next inhale, allow the belly to drop. Lift the chin. Tailbone still remaining high. Exhale, arch the back. Inhale, let the belly drop. Get one more of that. And inhale, allow the belly to drop. Come on back into a tabletop position. Stretch your arms out a little further ahead on the mat. Keep the hips up high and allow the chest to drop down towards the ground. Softer version of this pose, the forearms are on the ground. Otherwise, you're keeping your arms straight and letting the head drop, letting the chest melt. Good stretch to those shoulders. Hold it here, a couple of deep breaths. And inhale, come on back up into a tabletop position. Let's make our way into that first downward facing dog. Okay, so good spread to those fingers. Curl your toes under, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Adjust a little here, even weight between the feet and the hands. Okay, let's pedal out the feet, bend one knee and straighten the other leg, pressing the heel down towards the mat. Press down firmly into those fingertips. Inhale and exhale to switch. Good. Let's do one more on each side. Good. Come back into downward facing dog. Both legs a little straighter, those heels reaching down towards the mat. And then come into a forward bend by walking your feet up to the top of the mat. Start off with those knees slightly bent. Let the upper body relax. Soften your neck, your shoulders. And then start to straighten up those legs if you're feeling a little bit more limber to the back of those legs. And let's come up to standing. Bend your knees and make your way up, all the way up to standing. Draw those shoulders away from your ears and bring your hands in to prayer position. Let's begin with a half sun salutation. Stretch your arms out, reach those arms overhead, let the palms meet and fold into forward bend. As you exhale, inhale, lift up halfway for that flat back, a long spine, flat back, long neck. Exhale to tuck it in and fold into a forward bend. Inhale, let's come all the way back up. Stretch those arms out and overhead, let the palms meet, taking a gentle back bend. And exhale, back to the start. Let's keep going. Inhale, reach your arms up, overhead. Exhale to fold into forward bend. Inhale, wave up halfway for that flat back. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat. Step the right foot back. Hold it here just a moment and runner's lunge or low lunge. And then step the front foot back into a high push-up position. Shoulders stacked over the wrists. Curl your toes under, strong legs. We're taking low push-up next, elbows hugged in close to the body. Lower the knees down if you want a softer version. And then keep those elbows hugged in as you lower all the way down onto the mat. And inhale through into your cobra, only going up as high as comfortable, especially this first back bend. Next exhale, make your way back to down dog. Safest way is on your knees first. Curl your toes under, lift those hips up and back down. We're facing dog. Okay. At the end of this exhale, send your gaze up in between the hands, feet to the top of the mat. You can step it up here one at a time. One foot up, and then the other foot up. Inhale, lift up halfway. Exhale to fold into forward bend. Inhale, come all the way back up, stretch your arms out and overhead, taking a gentle back bend. And exhale, back to the start. Let's go. Keep going. Inhale, stretch those arms overhead. Exhale, fold into forward bend. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, hands on the mat. Step the left foot back. Step the right foot back. High push-up position. On your knees, on your toes, elbows hugged in close to the body as you lower. And inhale through into cobra or even upward dog if you like, pressing the tops of the feet down onto the mat to lift the thighs off the mat. Let's make our way back to downward dog from here. Downward facing dog. In your down dog, take your gaze under the right arm and shift your hips slightly over to the right. If you need a little bit more, you can cross that left foot behind the right and inch that left hand towards the top left corner of the mat. It's good. Stretch to the left side of the body. Hold it here. One more deep breath. Come back to the center, downward facing dog. Shift your hips over to the left side. And just holding it here is fine, or you can take that right foot behind the left, inch that right hand towards the top right corner of the mat. Yeah, and then find your way back to downward facing dog. At the end of this exhale, send your gaze up in between the hands and bring the feet to the top of the mat. You can walk it up, step it up, or hop the feet up to the top. Come in 2. Inhale to lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale to fold into forward bend. And inhale. Let's come all the way back up. Stretch your arms out and overhead. Taking a gentle back bend at the very top. And exhale, back to the start. Let's add in a side stretch. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. Interlace fingers, pointer index fingers. You're going to reach over to your right side. Hips slightly to the left. Hold it here. Don't let that top shoulder collapse. Good. Inhale back to the center and over to the other side. Good. Inhale, come on back to the middle, and then let's swan dive and fold into a forward bend. Inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale, hands on the mat, step or hop back into high push-up and low push-up. Inhale through into your cobra or up dog, and exhale to flow back into downward facing dog. Good. Now down dog, try floating that right foot off the mat, coming into three-legged dog. Good. Step the right foot forward, right up in between those hands, keeping the back toe curled under for now. Let the hips sink down and forward. We're adding a spinal twist here by rotating the chest towards the right side, keeping that left hand planted on the ground. Rotate the chest towards the right. Softer version, you can lower the back knee down on the mat if you like. Try to get the right shoulder higher than the left, perhaps extending the right hand up towards the ceiling. Strong here. Keep that back leg strong. Try not to lean too much into that left hand. One more deep breath. Bring both hands back down onto the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. Stay here in down dog or flow, shifting forward and taking your half sun salutation, low push up, cobra, up dog, and back to downward facing dog. Okay. Try floating that left foot off the mat, coming into three-legged dog, three-legged down dog. Hold it here. Still continue to breathe deeply in through the nose and out through the nose. And then carefully step the left foot forward for your runner's lunge. Be sure to stack that front knee over the front ankle. Back leg is strong. Let the hips sink down a little. Get the hips flexor stretch. Then place that right hand on the ground and rotate your chest towards the left side. Strong with those legs. Option to stretch the left hand up towards the ceiling. Great. One more deep breath. Now we'll bring the left hand back down into the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. Stay there, or stronger version, flow, half sun salutation. To downward facing dog. At the end of this exhale, send your gaze up in between the hands. Step, walk, or hop your feet up to the top of the mat. Once you get there, inhale, lift up halfway, flat back. Exhale to fold, forward bend. Inhale, stick it all the way back up, stretch your arms out and overhead. Gentle back bend, and exhale, back to the start. Let's keep flowing. Inhale, stretch those arms overhead. This time, interlace your fingers behind your back as you take this forward bend. Press the hands away from the body. Try for straighter legs. We're a little warmer now. Deep breaths. Good. One more. Relax and release the hands down onto the mat. Next, inhale, lift up halfway for that flat back. Exhale, let's make our way back to low push-up. If you're jumping back, try jumping right back to a low push-up. Inhale through into cobra or your upward facing dog, and exhale, let's take it back to down dog. Let's take that right leg, stretch it up high, three-legged dog. Try the version where you bend the right knee and point that knee towards the ceiling. Get the right hip a little higher than the left. Little hip opening, little spinal twist. Level off the hips, step the right foot all the way up for warrior two. Warrior two. So we're going to adjust so that the thighs are pressing away from one another. Keep that front knee over the front ankle. Warrior two. Stretch those arms out. Relax the shoulders. Breathe. Okay, so steady gaze over those right fingertips. And we're going to just hold it here just a little moment longer. Straighten that front leg for triangle pose. Looking for those straight lines. Right hand down towards the right knee, shin or ankle. And you can take that other arm up towards the ceiling. So left arm straight up. So no matter where you end up landing, keep that left shoulder open. You don't want to let it collapse down, okay? Nice. Just hold it here. One more deep breath. And inhale all the way back up to standing. Bring your hands onto your waist. Inch the back foot up slightly. Inch the front foot forward a little. You want to try to step your feet place your feet as though you're stepping on two skis or two rail lines. And in that way, you can allow that left hip to shift forward slightly so that the hips are lined up with one another. Coming into an intense side stretch or pyramid pose, grabbing opposite elbows or bringing your hands into reverse prayer position. So in your back, reverse prayer, or grab opposite elbows, Keep those hips level as you shift, as you hinge forward from those hips. Straight legs, long spine. So if you have your hands behind you, you won't be able to come as far forward as you normally do. If this is really uncomfortable with your hands behind you, just release those hands down onto the floor instead. And hold it here. One more deep breath. Yeah. Bring your hands onto your waist if you have them on the floor, and we'll all inhale to come back up to standing. Next, we're going to do a revolved triangle involving a spinal twist. It might be helpful to grab a hold of a block if you have it with you, or something that you can use as a prop. Okay. We're going to hold on to the block with the left hand if your right foot is forward. Okay. So opposite arm will hold onto the block. With a long spine, reach that left hand down towards that right foot. If you place that block or the hand on the inside of the right foot, it's going to be easier. On the outside, it's going to be a little bit harder, a little bit more twist, even more challenging. Pressing down into your block, steady as you let that right shoulder rotate higher than the left. You might be able to just remain where you are, or you can stretch that right hand up towards the ceiling, coming into revolved triangle. It's normal to be a little shaky, some days steadier than others. Okay. Maybe your gaze can travel towards that right fingertip if you're feeling really steady. And then we'll release and bring those hands back down onto the mat. Step back into downward facing dog. So downward dog, as always, you can just remain in your down dog, or you can take your Vinyasa, your half sun salutation. A little bit of movement here, pedaling out the feet, maybe shifting the hips side to side. Okay. Let's take it to the other side. Take your left leg, stretch it up high, three-legged dog, bend the left knee, and point that left knee towards the ceiling, trying to get the left hip higher than the right. All right. Here we go. Step the left foot forward to come into our warrior two, opening up to the long side of the mat. Steady gaze over those left fingertips. Allow the shoulders to relax and breathe. Triangle pose, straighten the front leg. Bring that left hand down towards the left knee, shin or ankle. You take that right hand straight up towards the ceiling, or just keep it on your waist. And one more deep breath here. Inhale, lift all the way back up to standing. Hands on your waist as you inch that back foot forward, step that front foot back in a little closer so that you can shift that right hip to line up with the left. So if you place a block on your back as you come forward, that block is not going to shift anywhere. Pick your arm position, grab opposite elbows, reverse prayer position, lean forward. Keep those legs straight. Try not to lock through the front knee. You can always keep a slight micro bend. So we feel that intense stretch to the back of the left leg. And just hold it here. One more deep breath. And with your next inhale, lift all the way back up. Okay, and we're going to make use of the block if you're using it. We're going to hold on to the block with the right hand. Big inhale to lengthen that spine. Exhale as you reach forward. And if you have your block on the outside of the left foot, a little bit more challenging, a little bit more twist. Press down into the block to lift that left shoulder higher than the right. You can keep the left hand where it is, or you can send that left hand up towards the ceiling. And as you do so, you can even turn your gaze up. Ooh, careful with the wobble. Good, let's stay here. One more deep breath. And then release, unwind, back to downward facing dog. Staying there or taking your flow. Give that a little bit of movement. And let's come down onto the knees. I'm going to set up for our yin portion of the class. For your yin, you're going to need your pillows and your bolster. The first pose that we're going to do is going to be supported fish pose. I like to have my bolster at an incline. So I set up a block at the lowest setting and the other one at a little higher setting, creating an incline with the bolster or your pillow. And then perhaps you can have a blanket at the very bottom where your hips are going to be at, and just gives you a little lift, a little bit more support. So this is a great opening for the chest, a little bit of a back bend here. I'm going to set up an alarm. So we're going to stay here 5 minutes. Coming down into the back, going to allow your body to just relax, spine along the length of the bolster. So if you have low back issues, you can keep those knees bent and collapse to one another. If you have no low back issues and would like to stretch those legs out, you can go ahead and do that. It should feel quite nice. Stretch your arms out about shoulder height or chest level, and that should give you a great stretch opening to the front of the body. Those legs can remain where they are, or if you want a little bit more, you can bring those legs into cobbler's pose, the soles of the feet together, and let those knees open up. And this is beautiful, relaxing yin pose. Body is still nice and warm. We're prepped to really receive that opening, that heart opening pose here. So deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. And just allow your entire body to really sink deep into your space. When I'm in yin poses, I like to scan the body. You can just start at the feet to relax your feet, those calves and thighs. Allow the hips to sink deep into your mat, into your blanket. With each exhale, soften the belly. Relax your arms. Feel them grow heavy. Opening up to the front of the body. Soften your shoulders. Feel any tension melt off the shoulders and the neck. Relax your jaw and your cheeks. Soften that space in between your eyebrows and the forehead. Feeling calm all the way up to the crown of your head. And as you remain in this yin posture, do your very best to remain present. Oftentimes, our mind starts to wander, and what you want to do is just try to bring your mind back to the moment. So rein those thoughts back in. It helps you just kind of observe your thoughts and try not to chase after that thought. Just let it go and come back to the present moment and just focusing on your breath, those long inhales and exhales. Okay, so let's just enjoy our yin pose now. Feel a signal to come out of this pose. Begin to guide the knees back towards one another if you have them in cobbler's pose. A little bit of movement here might feel really nice, rolling out the wrists and ankles. Also, while you're on your back, let those knees drop gently side to side. Yeah. Alright, so let's come into our next pose. Take your time to come out of your supported fish pose. You roll over to one side. You can even stay here for a breath or so. Just resting for a moment. Right, just pausing for a moment, just enjoying the transition. Okay, so we're going to slowly press our way back up and set up for the next pose, which is going to be a supported bridge pose. So with this pose, you're going to have a bolster under the hips, or even a block or two. A block might be firmer, so it's just your personal preference. Okay, so our next pose is going to be our bridge pose. Start by placing the bolster under your knees and come on down onto your back. So as you lie on your back, start to roll the bolster or the pillow a little closer under your hips. And then feet about hips width apart. Press down into the feet to lift the hips off the mat. And then you can place the hips on the mat and just get a good stretch. A gentle back bend, a good stretch to the front of the body. And if you need a little bit more, you can stretch those legs out, coming into extended bridge pose. I'm going to set up our timer. Okay. So go ahead and pick a position, pick a version of this pose that works well for you. So no stress in the low back. Just allow the upper body to relax, arms by your side, and just close your eyes here. So same thing I like to do is just to scan the body, right? So just very mindful kind of meditation, just moving from the toes, relaxing the feet. So any stress in the feet, allow the toes to open if you need to, or point those toes if you prefer. And then just soften, allow those hips to grow really heavy on your prop. Allow the belly to rise and fall slowly with the rhythm of your breath. Feel those arms grow heavy and the shoulders relax. And soften your facial features, that space in between your brows, even the scalp. And just enjoy. Let's start to awaken the body a little, Walk your feet in if you have them straight. If you have those legs straightened out, walk your feet in a little closer towards the hips. Press down into the feet to lift the hips off your prop and slide those props away from the body. Roll the spine down onto the mat and gather your knees into the chest. Give that a good roll out. And we're going to finish off with 2 more poses, spinal twists on either side. So we start off with the bolster or pillow on your left side of the body. And you're going to roll your way over to the left side and place that right knee onto your bolster. And the bottom leg can be straight or slightly bent. And then we're going to, from here, we're going to let that right shoulder open up towards the right side. So as you do this, you want to make sure that your knees is supported on the bolster. You can use your left hand to hold that knee down, and then use the weight of your right arm to really anchor the right shoulder down into the mat. And it should be a nice stretch for that low back. It's great for the spine. And then just a soft gaze over to the right side. And let's set up the timer for this one as well. So just allow your body to relax. Again, just softness here, find softness. Keep the mind centered in the moment and then relax. To come out of this pose, carefully unwind the spine by bringing the right arm back towards the left side. And roll onto your back, carefully, mindfully. Knees into the chest for a little bit of rollout or some windshield wipers if you prefer. And let's roll over to the left side, so to the right side. So you'll meet your bolster on the right side of the body, so that your left knee can rest on that bolster. Open that left arm out. Allow that left shoulder to become heavier, maybe touching the ground. And then you're going to turn your gaze away from your knees. Let's go ahead and start that timer. All that scanning, do the same thing, scan the body. Starting from those toes, relax. All the way up to the crown of the head. Let go of any tension that you're feeling. Find yourself softening even more, relaxing even more. And just enjoy this pose. Carefully unwind the spine. Bring the left arm back towards the right side. Very mindfully, you're going to roll back onto your back. Take a moment here. Just notice how you're feeling. Perhaps you need a little windshield wipers, letting those knees drop side to side. Or perhaps gathering the knees into the chest for that good rollout. Some circular movements. We're moving into Savasana in a moment, so any last poses that you need to take here, just feel free to just a minute or so just to take those poses, maybe a back bend, a side stretch, anything like that. And then when you're ready, you're going to set yourself up for Savasana. And since I have the bolster so handy, I'm going to place that bolster under my knee, stretch those legs out, and then come on down into the back and just relax. Allow the arms to grow heavy, soften the shoulders. And as you come into Shavasana, we're going to allow the body to really sink into the space. Feel those limbs start to grow heavy. Feel those hips sink into your space. Allow tensions to flow off the shoulders and the neck. Soften that space right in between the eyebrows, skin around your eyes, and just feel your jaw and your cheeks really relax as well. And feeling calm all the way up to the crown of the head, scalp relaxes. And with calm, relaxed body and calm, relaxed mind, enjoy Shavasana. You start to awaken the body with some small movements. Bring sensations back to the body. If you like to take a big stretch today, reach your arms overhead, stretch from toes to fingertips. You inhale and then exhale to release. One more hug of the knees into the chest for that roll out. You roll over to the right. Let's stay here for a breath or two. And make your way back up into a comfortable seated position. Come back up. So thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that and that was beneficial for you. I hope to see you soon and thank you very much. Namaste.